Peace, everybody. Today we're going to be replacing an iPad Air screen. You know I don't like to waste any time in my videos, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to be fixing the screen on this, not the actual LCD, because there's no damage to the LCD. The screen and the digitizer are in one on this particular type of iPad Air. The digitizer just means it's the touch functions and everything. Here's some of the tools that you get. Tweezers. You'll get a tool that's going to pry the screen open. There's also a suction cup in there. I recommend using a blow dryer to warm up the adhesive on the other side of the screen. I'd say the difficulty of this is about a 5 out of 10. Here's what I paid for the actual screen digitizer to replace this with. It's really easy, guys, once you get underneath it. So this iPad was given to me because they were trying to replace the USB charging port on it, but I found that it charges fine. I just couldn't use the touch function of it, and the home button doesn't work. And I could power it on, but I can't power it off because I can't slide the power button over to turn it off. So it unfortunately has to just die when it needs to turn off. So at this point, the screen has actually already been removed from the previous user. I've taken this to other shops to have it looked at, and they've quoted me anywhere from $120 to $160 to fix everything. So we're going to try the screen out and see if it works. Can't really beat 13 bucks for another screen. If it was the LCD, it's going to cost you a little bit more, close to $50 for the actual LCD screen, but we're not going to do that today. So here I'm just faking like I'm taking this off. Usually, again, you want to use a blow dryer to warm up the adhesive on the other side because it's really old and it's really sticky. And that little suction cup will probably take it off once you have the adhesive warmed up on the other side. I'm really making this video so the average phone user or phone breaker, iPad breaker can see that it's actually not that hard to do it yourself. So here are the 3 screws that will be holding down the LCD. You want to remove them, and I'll speak on why I only have 3 screws a little later in the video. So go ahead and take them out. Go into your package and grab this tool. This tool will also open up the little screws on like an iPhone 11 all the way down to probably like a 7 or 6. So gently pull the LCD screen out and be careful, because on the other side, if we spin it around here and have a look, you can see there is a cable holding this together, and you want to be really careful. So underneath there, you can see there's another set of 3 screws. You want to remove those. So you're going to have to prop the screen up and remove those 3 with the tool that's coming in the package. Here are the 3 tiny screws. Do not lose them. They're very easy to misplace. Go ahead and gently pull up until you kind of feel it unsnap. Here's a closer look at what you just unsnapped. We'll have to put this back there here in a second once we get the screen replaced. To keep it clean, I'd recommend pulling off this extra goop from the old adhesive. It's going to be kind of stringy, and if you're patient with it, you can just kind of pull it off as you go. You might have to rub it up a little bit to kind of get underneath it. Or you can use that tool, the pry tool, to get underneath it and start peeling it off and cleaning it up, because you want it clean when you stick it back down with the new screen on it. So let's go ahead and get that part cleaned up. That's what it kind of looks like. Let's get rid of that. Here's the spray that I'd recommend using, something like a screen cleaner. Don't use Windex or anything like that. Get kind of a sleek towel that you might clean glasses with, not a microfiber. And you're going to have to just kind of work your way around the screen, making sure you don't put fingerprints back on it as you clean it. And we'll get ready to put it back in. So this is the new screen. Here are the new cable ribbons that we're going to put in there. That little yellow band right there, we're going to peel that off a little later. So let's go ahead and get this put on there. Here are the new buttons. We got to connect those 3, and that's all that we got to do. Here are the old ones that were actually stuck on the board. When you lay the LCD back down on top of the battery, make sure that you line it up properly from the home button in the camera. This little piece of tape comes off the cable, which you'll want to put back on the cable once you got it in. For me, this was the hardest cable to get in, which took a little bit of wiggling. And I also have the screen we're going to put on propped up on something behind it. You can't see it because I'm zoomed in, but I do have it propped up because it's really difficult to plug this in without laying the screen flat. And when you get to do this, you'll know what I mean. You got to have it really close because these little cable ribbons, they snap easy if you pull that screen too close or too far away from it. Let's go ahead and put the little sticky part over the connection just to keep it safe. Keep it clean. The next one is that one right there. This one's not as difficult. So just go ahead and get that snapped in. Takes a little pressure again. Don't let the LCD screen behind it fall back or pull the cable out. So just kind of push on and make sure you got it in there. Remember these tiny little screws, we actually have to put them back on this top plate right here and screw it down firmly, which I'll do right here. Once you get them in, then we're going to screw down the screen. And that side right there, the upper left, did not line up for some reason. The others did perfectly, but that upper left corner for some reason did not. So let's get that screwed down. Now here's the tricky part. You have to pull off the adhesive on the screen, and then you have to set it perfectly on top of it. And here's where I would recommend using maybe a blow dryer again to kind of heat up the adhesive on the other side. Just lay it on there. This was actually kind of tricky to do as well. I kind of had a different set of hands in there, as you can see. Use a tool to kind of flatten that cable down. That cable is the one that has everything connected to it with the little metal door piece we had to screw back on. They just kind of have to go under the screen a certain way so it'll lay flat and flush. So the iPad actually never turned off. Even when you take the LCD out, it's still not technically off. So let's go ahead and test this out. The home button seems to be working. The swiping and gestures seem to be working. Let's get inside this thing. So as you can see, touchscreen is confirmed. I just wiped this iPad, so it's throwing all the new stuff at me from when you first set it up, but it's working. Really didn't take that long. Took maybe about an hour because I didn't know what I was doing and I needed a little bit of help, but you can do it too. It's really easy. So $13. This is the first generation iPad. The software version goes all the way up to 12. You can still use all the current, well, most of the current apps in the App Store now. Instead of paying $100+ to get this fixed, you could do it yourself. I did see other people put clamps around the edges to make the adhesive stick a little bit better. I just stuck it underneath a big stack of books for right now. I don't have any clamps and I didn't have a blow dryer at the moment to do that. But just leave it flat for maybe like a day and I'm pretty sure that the screen will stay on. I've messed with it after just freshly putting the screen on and I had no issues. But peace, love, and life, guys. Thanks for sticking in there with me. I hope this helps you guys out, and don't be afraid to replace your screen. It's really not that hard. So take care.